Hello, welcome back to Ever17 Out of Infinity. The corridor was flooded and the water level was rising. I was stunned by how high the water already was. In a little while, the alarm ceased. It looked like the flooding had been stopped just in time. It looks like it's under control. I wonder if everybody is alright. But there was no response. It's no good. I bet the sensors are out of whack. Yeah. We're gonna die. We put our argument aside for the moment and concentrate on handling the situation at hand. You and I headed down to the third floor. We're gonna die. You sprinted down the stairs. Even though we were in the middle of a crisis, I couldn't get my mind off of what we were talking about, the mystery surrounding Yu's parents, and my inexplicable premonitions. I just had this feeling that these two things were somehow connected to the third eye. Why? Why can't I shake this feeling? We reached and stood on the third floor. Hey, you. I was just thinking. I was thinking that the thing about your parents and the stuff that has been happening to me might have something in common. I got the feeling that the word the third eye ties them together somehow. It is. But you said your mom said the third eye. After saying that, you turned and started walking. I really want to survive. Looking straight ahead, she made for the control room. I followed her. Sora wasn't inside. I looked at the life reading numbers. Not being human, Sora shouldn't register on the bioscan, so the number 5 matched with the number of us that we knew to be stuck in LeMu. In other words, everyone was alive. We didn't think it was a good idea to move from where we were. People on the outside might have found out what had happened and be on the way, so we decided to try to think of a way out. We looked at a map of the complex and talked about this and that possibility, but at that point we really didn't expect to find anything new. What's that exclamation mean? What? Suddenly the monitor displayed an image. It was a shaky video mixed with static. When the screen finally settled down, it showed the face of a girl that I did not recognize. Oh, what? Was this person... was she Yu's mother? Huh? What does she mean by that? The woman vanished from the screen. Then a man appeared.
これから浮島上にある高圧力送風機を稼働させ、アウクトプラッツの非常階段とそれに接続された緊急避難用通路の海水を除去する。予想排水完了時刻は21時30分。
Oh,
今から30分。
yes, okay.
その後、水のなくなった通路を通り、非常階段を登って浮島へと達してもらいたい。
Are we saved?
それまでは
Oh, I hope
各
so.
自その場で待機だ。
Yes.
あなた誰なの？
すべては君たちが浮島に上がってきてから教えるつもりだ。こうしてディスプレイに向かい合って話すような内容じゃないからね。だけどユウ、君に一つだけ分かってもらいたいことがあるんだ。お母さんは誰よりも君のことを愛している。どうかこのことだけは忘れないでほしい。
Okay, great. Progress. Eventually the others straggled into the control room. Takeshi, Sarah, Tsugumi, and Sora. I told them about the message we had just had. The others couldn't hide their surprise. It was such sudden, unexpected good news. Yes! Some of them even thought it might be a trap. Of course, that was what I thought at first, too. My skeptical mind wanted to ask, why now? We felt like a trick might still be being played on us, but we had no other choice but to go along with it. There were only a few hours left until LeMu imploded. There were no other options left for us. We moved to the conference room and waited for the time that the water would be cleared. The six of us said hardly anything. Everyone just stared off in space, waiting impatiently for time to pass. You slumped back in a chair and stared blankly at the ceiling. She looked like a puppet with its strings cut. The room was tense with anticipation. I couldn't handle it and decided to I don't know. Sorry, Sarah. I can just pick any one of them. How about Sarah? Hey, Sarah.
何？
What was it that you had to do after that? Of course, I meant after we split up in the changing room. The expression she had on their face had bothered me. Her face had bothered me ever since, right? Yeah. I think you said you had to settle something.
それは
Or other...
内緒。
What? Really?
どうしてそんなに人のプライベートに立ち入ってくるかな？
I'm sorry.
まあいいけどね。
Will you tell me this much? Did you finish whatever it was?
もちろん。
Oh, well, that's good.
言いなりになるのはもうやめるの。
Huh? You mean your mom and your dad?
違うんだけど似たようなものかも。これからは私は私の生きたいように生きるって決めたの。さて、ここを出たらどこ行こうかな。
You're not going home?
帰らないよ。だってそこは本当の家じゃないから。だから私は私の帰るべき場所を探しに行くの。
Well, that's the same as me. I know. Will you take me with you?
え？少年も？
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anywhere to go either. I'll look with you.
ありがとう。でもお断りしておくよ。
Why not?
だって恨まれちゃうもん。
By who? But Sarah just grinned at me without answering.
にーともかんとも。にーに。
Finally, the appointed time arrived. We climbed to the second floor and stood at the emergency corridor. Then we began walking to the central core. Finally, we reached a dead end. The watertight door was shut from there because the area had been filled with seawater before. The door swung open. The water was gone. The corridor was dry and we continued heading toward the center. Sarah, Takeshi, and Tsugumi walked ahead. You, Sora, and I walked a few dozen meters behind them. It seemed like Takeshi had already reached the emergency stairs. Sarah, Takeshi, and Tsugumi disappeared up the stairs. But immediately after that... Oh no!
いけません。浸水が始まりました。第三区画、避難通路の隔壁が圧壊。前方51メートル先より水が押し寄せてきます。
No. The sound of rushing water could be heard in the distance. Run!
ダメです。もう間に合いません。早く引き返してください。
The door leading to the emergency stairs was swallowed in water. You, what are you doing? Run, now! Now, hang on! I grabbed Yu's hand and doubled back. We fled to the security office. Yu, Sora, and I were there. It looked like the flooding had subsided. According to Sora, there were only a few days, dry areas left in the complex. A message came from outside.
他の3名は無事だ。そっちは大丈夫か。
Yeah, I think so.
さっきの浸水だけは全くの誤算だった。だが核壁の強度を見誤ったとも思えない。原因が全くわからない。
What do you want us to do now?
ひとまずそこに待機していてくれ。すぐに対策を講じる。
Hurry. You can't use the high pressure gas fan to get rid of the water again. Huh? What? I'm having trouble hearing you. Static had broken up part of the message and I hadn't caught it. It looked like another crisis had struck. From the speaker on their side, we heard a lot of hurried noise and a rush of air. What? What's that? Again, the communications were cut off. Sora. With a solemn look, Sora shook her head. Darn it, we were almost there. Why this? Why did this happen to us? I punched the console. I don't get any of this. What is that? Blickwinkle? Hey Sora, what does this mean? Sora shook her head again. I sighed and sat down in a chair. You sat slumped in the chair next to me. I looked at the monitor. It displayed the life reading for the complex. Life readings 3. Huh? 3? I wondered why. Only you, Sarah, and I were left in LeMu, and Sora, the bioscan, shouldn't pick her up. What is this? Is this broken? What does this mean, Sora?
わかりません。ただ何かが起きていることだけは確かなようです。私にも知らされていない何かが。
I stood up from the chair. Just then, my elbow bumped an empty can on the table. The can fell to the floor and rolled to the wall. The floor is tilting. Hey Sora, can you display the map of LeMu? Something that has a cross-sectional display of the structure.
はい、わかりました。
A map of LeMu appeared on the monitor. It's like I thought. LeMu is slanting. But the tilt of the complex didn't really mean anything. Thankfully, it didn't look like it was affecting our chances of survival. Hey, you, what do you think we should do now? You was completely spaced out. It didn't even look like my voice was reaching her brain. It seemed that the light from this world had been extinguished from her eyes. Daybreak. The date had changed to Sunday, May 7th. Since that time, we hadn't slept at all. I was starting to feel badly again. A headache, dizziness, nausea, and coldness felt like they were seeping in deep in the core of my body. I suffered from a wave of dull pain and extreme fatigue. I was only half conscious. Exhaustion. I had reached my limit. But I tried to keep my energy from being sapped away. surrounded by darkness, an endless fear. We had fought our way this far. And there was no sign that things were going to get better. Communication lines with the outside were still down. And we had yet to find a clue that might lead to escape. Slowly, Yu started to get ill too. Her face was pale. Her breathing was heavy. Beads of sweat stood out on her forehead. She seemed to have a terrible fever. I was not the only one suffering mentally and physically. There had been signs from the day before, but we couldn't do anything about it. The infirmary was already underwater. We could only endure the passing of time. Is this it? Is this the end? Is giving up the only choice? I looked up helplessly. The ceiling was crusty with cigarette smoke. I couldn't see anything else. I'm going to die. There's nothing I can do, just die. That was my conclusion. I knew then exactly how much strength I had left. I felt utterly hopeless, useless, incompetent. Yes, I would die. And I was fine with that. I didn't care. Without a memory, I thought I had been the equivalent of dead to start with. Nothing changes. I had nothing to lose. It was already decided. I remember what Tsugumi had told me, that I would die in 7 days. Her prediction was true. I don't care. This is the way it should be. I relaxed and looked down. And I saw you. She slumped back into a chair and her breathing looked labored. Suddenly I felt the warmth I'd felt from Yu's fingers when I made my promise again in my fingertips. You... Yes, if I didn't do anything, you would die too. No, I wouldn't let that happen. I don't care if I die, but you is... Somehow I had to save her. Because I had promised. Promised. How could I... How... Then... There was only a short time until the estimated time of implosion. The security office started shaking violently. The complex screeched. Alarms pierced the air with shrill warnings. So we're reporting the situation in a monotone. What's wrong? What else? I see. How long do you think this will hold?
20分から25分ですが、すぐに悪化してもおかしくない状況です。
The normal lighting went out and emergency lighting kicked in. I figured that the generator room was probably damaged.
結局、お二人をお救いすることができませんでした。本当に申し訳ございません。本当に。
Don't be. It's not your fault. I think you did a great job. I headed over to be beside you. This place isn't going to hold. Let's go. You was completely weakened. She looked up powerlessly and nodded slightly. I carried you on my back.
どこへ向かわれるのですか?
I don't know. Somewhere where we can gain a little more time. I intend to stake our lives on the possibility that we would be rescued until the very end. I can't think of anything to do other than that. I promised her that I would protect her no matter what. Where's the safest place left among the fours?
ドリッドシュトックの制御室なら、あるいはしかしそれでももって数十分の差です。
That's enough. I was going to leave the room, but I suddenly stopped. What are you going to do, Sora?
私はもうお二人とご一緒することができません。浸水の影響で館内に設置された映像デバイスにかなりの損傷が出てしまいました。私が姿を現せる場所は限られてしまっています。ですがせめて音声を通してお二人を制御室までご案内したいと思います。
Alright, please do.
はい。
When I left the room, I found water leaking from walls and spots. The bulkheads squealed.
ではご案内します。制御室まで今現在で無事なルートは。
We went down to the third floor. LeMu was still holding. The estimated time of implosion that Sora had predicted should have passed long before. LeMu kept resisting to the end as if Sora was willing it to protect us. You gasped, suffering terribly as I carried her on my back. Be strong, be patient. It's just a little further. I lied. I was a liar. A little more patience, and then what? There was nothing I could do. So I lied. I was a big liar. We were close to the control room. And again, I saw it. The vision of the little girl.
どうしたの？
She stood across the corridor. Her eyes met mine. And then a name flashed in my mind as clear as a bell. Coco!
少年さん、どうなされたのですか？
Turning on her heels, Coco ran off in the other direction. I chased after her, still carrying you. Coco!
少年さん、引き返してください。そっちは。
He remembers. I was chasing after her at full speed. But the flooding and shaking ground slowed me down. From the beginning, it was a crazy, reckless idea to run after her with you on my back. I lost sight of her. It was a dead end in a narrow corridor in front of a small door. Where is this? Himmel. I thought that maybe she was beyond the door. In that instant, I glimpsed something in my head. It was a vague, abstract image. I wasn't sure, but definitely. I felt it. I could see it. That there should be a beam of hope ahead. I lowered you and tried to open the door of Himmel, but the door wouldn't budge. Sora, open this door!
無理です。その扉は私の管轄外なのです。
No, I pounded on the door. I know it, on the other side of this door. You will be safe in there. Please, open this door. Water spouted fiercely from the corridor wall. An animal-like growl echoed from far away. The complex pitched violently. I saw a massive amount of water flooding down the corridor ahead. It was as if a pitch-black monster were opening its massive mouth to attack. I ran frantically to you. I felt as if I were moving in slow motion. I won't make it. For an instant, time stopped, and then it started again. The water swallowed us in a moment. Oh, no. In the water, my eyes met Yu's. She was trying desperately to reach her hand out. I held her hand. Yu squeezed mine back. Yu mumbled something. But the words didn't reach me. The words just changed into small bubbles and vanished in the darkness. Yu slowly closed her eyes. Yu... What did you say? Of course I want to know. I shook her hand. There was no response. That's not fair. She is teasing me again. I touched her cheek. It was cold. Cold. Of course, it's because we're in the water. It's because we are in this cold water. I squeezed her hand. Hey. I said, hey. Hey, you, tell me. She didn't squeeze my hand back. She didn't move. She didn't tell me anything anymore. It's not true. No, no, no. It's a lie. This can't be true. It has to be a lie. This is a lie. I let go of the last breath of my lungs. I close my eyes to avert them from reality.
約束
I promise.
もし約束が
Did we just die? I won't. I'll see that you're safe.
絶対に 1% たりともないの
0.1 possibility.
こんな自信過剰な約束聞いたこともないけど仕方ない付き合ってあげるとしますか
I didn't make it. I couldn't keep my promise. I couldn't protect her. I was a liar. Darn liar. Just at that moment I felt a soft warm light. A light. A ray of light sliced through the plain dark world. The door of Himmel started to open. Beyond the door spread a dazzling light world. Heaven. Heaven, was it an illusion? No, it wasn't. This was reality. This was undoubtedly the truth of my world. I knew that. If we went to the place on the other side of the door, we could meet again. This time I might be able to protect her. You. I quietly opened my eyes. What happened? Life reading 1. This story is not an end yet because only you are in the infinity loop. Oh, wow. That's it. Okay. So something happened and I got to the end of that. Great. Okay. Well, I do want to choose the other ones on that choice when I was talking to everyone. It's the only thing I can think of right now. That's good. Okay. I did already talk to Sarah, and I saw some scenes with you, so I'll just try talking to you this time. See what happens with that. Hey, you. Hey, you.
何呼んだ
Yeah.
あのさ悪いんだけど今そっとしといてもらえる何か話せるような気分じゃないのごめんちょっと一人で考えたいことがあるから
I understand. I'm sorry to bug you. I figured that it must have been a real shock for her to find out that the lady had been pretending to be her mother. It looked like all of our guesses had been right on target. Okay. The only ones I want to try are Sarah and you. That's all I got. I will say that. Oh, see where to go from here next time. Okay. Bye!